Okay. The painting the house is one of those things that can really tick your teacher off, and it's mostly because of stuff like this, where they just started painting this, they put down this nice pink piece of butcher paper, and then they completely forgot that it was there and painted the whole table. So what they're obviously going to have to do tomorrow or the next day is come in here and sand the whole thing back down again, and it takes a long time. So you can do two things. You can either get a second piece of paper so that doesn't happen, or you can just be a little bit more safe when you do it. Careful. All right, when we paint, there's a couple pet peeves that I have. One is the lids of the can. When you're taking off a lid, a lot of people will use like a screwdriver or something, a flathead screwdriver. This is a paint key, and it's got a little hook right on the end. When you take this off, you're not going to force it in one spot. If you pry it up in one spot, what's going to happen to the lid? It won't fit right. It's going to bend it in that one spot. So you're going to work it up. You're going to pry a little bit as you work your way around it, and then it comes off nicely. And then when you go to put it back on, by the way, some of this stuff is a little older. When you go to put it back on, the same thing applies. You're going to, I don't know why this bugs me so much, but I always get the student, and it happens even when I explain it. I always get the student that takes the hammer and they smack it right in the middle of the can.
Oh no.
What's going to happen if you smack right in the middle? Yeah, it's going to dent it, it's going to bend the metal, and it's never going to seat correctly. And you can see this last group, even though I just told them, they still did it. They smacked right in the middle. Cool. So you're going to put one finger down on the outside edge, and then I like using a rubber mallet, and you're going to tap your way around, and then swat. There, done deal. Nice finish, and that means you're not going to get that paint in there. If you do get paint in the outside edge, it's best to pull it up right away with a paper towel and clean out that spot, because otherwise it's going to build up, and then it's not going to seat correctly either. When you are painting, after you get the lid off, put the lid on top of your paper. Don't put it out here because it will always run off. There's going to be, especially on older paint, there's going to be a film. You guys. There's going to be a film on there. Sometimes the paint is older, so you need to get a paint stick. Don't get something like this that's really huge, because you're going to get a whole bunch of paint build up on there, and it's not going to do any good for you. You can use a brush to get it back off afterwards, but get something smaller when you mix it up. A lot of times, even though it's a regular latex-based paint, it will have some separation in there, so it's best to mix it up a little bit ahead of time. Now this stuff you can see is really chunky, right?
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese. So on something like this, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of water. It's a water-based paint. So we're going to put a little bit of water in there and then mix it up, and we're going to smooth it out a little bit. Right now it's a little too thick. If you get something that as soon as you take the lid off, it really reeks. I mean, it smells like oil. It's an oil-based paint. Don't use it whatever you do, because if you get oil-based paint, should we just take that vise off for you? If you get an oil-based paint on these, it does not come off unless you get a cleaner on there. Water will not get it off. And I usually try and make sure there's no oil-based paint in there. We got a whole bunch of latex. But one year I had a student go and buy some extra special stuff, and he brought it in, and the kid was black, of course. And so all the kids want to use it, and they dipped their brushes in, and we had to throw them all away. So make sure that you don't do it. By the way, does anybody know how much a standard brush costs, like this right here?
$25.
If it's a high-end brush will cost about $10 for one of these. If it's a wider one, it's going to cost like $25. These are Harbor Freight specials, so they're a lot cheaper. So these are about $2.50. So it's not such a big deal. But if you do not wash them out afterwards, it will be a deal. Because I know exactly whose doghouse did not wash them out. It's kind of funny how the color matches. So I will charge your group for it. So when you wash it out, first of all, when you're using the paintbrush, you want to dip in the bottom ½ inch. I don't know why this is so difficult to remember, but if you put the whole thing in there and try and dig up this big pile and slap it on, you get paint everywhere, first of all. And then it gets paint all in the bottom side of the brush. You can't use this paint down here. Any paint that gets down here, it's just making it heavier. You'll know as soon as you start painting a house when you get a little older, that the paintbrush after about an hour is really heavy, especially when it's loaded up. So when you dip it in there, only dip in the bottom 1/2 inch and then put it up there. You're going to do nice brush strokes up and down and work from one spot to another. Don't do like random spots and then try and fill it in like a puzzle or something. So dip it in there. The reason that's also helpful is if you only have the bottom 1/2 inch, it's really fast to wash out. If you get it all loaded up in here, the paint, the water barely scratches that area, and so it takes like an hour to wash out. It really sucks. So when you wash it out, you get it, take it into the back sink in the paint room, run water through it, run your fingers through it until all that paint gets out, and then you're going to put it into this brush cleaner. This you slide inside, just like that, and then there's a garbage can in there. You put it all the way down in the garbage can, and then you're going to spin it. And it's going to throw off any last little spots in there. It also works with a roller. A roller will go over the top of this, but we're not going to use rollers. So it'll spin it down in the bottom of the garbage can and get any residue that's still left in there. If you spin it and you see paint show up around the sides, what's that mean?
You didn't wash it out well enough.
Exactly.
Your pour wash.
Once you get it washed out, there's a whole bunch of screws in the paint room there hanging it up. If there's water on it, when you go in there, if there's water on the paintbrush, is that a problem?
Yeah.
No, it's not. These are water-based paint. So it's going to mix right in. It's not an issue. Another thing is once you've mixed it up, there's going to be a lot of paint loaded back up on the stick. So wipe what you can off with a brush and then lay it down on your paper. Also, I have inside the paint room, I have a whole bunch of, what do they call these, scrubs?
Smocks.
Smocks? Scrubs? I think they're scrubs.
I think it's a scrub.
So I have a whole bunch of these one piece and a whole bunch of aprons. So I would recommend, I am one of those kind of people that if we open up a can of paint, even if somebody else opens up a can of paint, I'm getting it on me. That's just kind of the way it works. And I can see I already did it right now. So if you're one of those kind of people, I'd really recommend you using this. Another thing I didn't find out till years down the road, if you get paint on you, don't flip out, okay? You can either try and wash it out right away, or else you just let it dry, and then take some hairspray and squirt it on it after it's dried, and it comes right off. It's amazing. I never knew that. I wish I would have known that. Hairspray, yeah. I had a Carhartt jacket, and it always bugged me. It was a really nice one, and I got paint on it years ago, and I saw it in a video, and so I went and sprayed it on there. It came right off. I was like, are you serious all this time? Anyway, so if you do get it, don't freak out on me. Once you paint this, remember as soon as you get done painting your doghouse, you have to paint also your window section. And then I'm going to give you 2 more pieces. And they're going to be this piece that goes on this end and this piece that goes right here. So besides the doghouse, you have 3 more pieces you need to paint. This will be cut into your emblem later. And the other 2 pieces go on those edges. We also have to wash out those paint brushes. I really don't like getting left with it. So if the cleanup bell rings, don't stay after, oh, I'm just going to finish this a little bit, because it does take time to wash those out. So 2 pet peeves. Don't smash the top of the lid, and don't put this all the way into the paint, just the bottom 1/2 inch. The paint colors. So one last thing. I have a whole bunch of paint colors in there. I've got like 50 different styles and stuff. It got donated to us, so it's really cool. However, so try and keep it clean. 2 colors. You pick 1 color for the main body and 1 color for the trim. Questions? All right, 1, 2, 3, break.